One unique thing about our battery, like totally unique in the battery world, is we hold 1.5 volts start to finish.
Oh, wow.
So every other battery that's out
unique.
there, the battery's voltage is decaying, power is decaying, and so as you use the battery, it's getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And most alkaline batteries get thrown away very much earlier than full discharge. You didn't actually use the full capacity of the battery. With our battery, when you use it to the end, you get to use the full capacity, but it was full power to that last 1% where it finally dips off.
People who enjoy the outdoors respect the outdoors, and people who respect the outdoors respect the companies that support that.
Yeah.
And I really want to tell those stories too.
Yep.
I want to get to where there's more awareness of what really is going on, because I don't think a lot of people know what's going on, you know?
It's hard to, it's too much going on.
Yeah.
So our feeling around what we're doing here has always been, we value the things that we go enjoy. We need to encourage people and enable people to go out and do more outside, because if you really care about the trail that's out nearby that you go on all the time, or the place that you go camping, or maybe it's a once in a lifetime visit to some national park, but you'll value it so much more that you'll do things along the way to help protect it. And that could be, who knows, a donation, or it could be the way you vote, it could be where you show up, or it could be what you teach your kids and the values that you kind of spread through the generations. And so our philosophy has always been, try to enable people to spend more time outside and encourage them to do that, with the hopes that they value those places and then therefore protect them for our kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same concept, but.
And I feel like when I'm in the outdoors, for me, it's therapeutic. When I'm in the outdoors, that's where I feel the healthiest.
Yeah.
That's where my mental state's better. That's where my physical state's better. And I believe if we can encourage people to get out to the outdoors, if we can make it easier for people to get to the outdoors, which is one of my goals, is to enable people who maybe have a harder time getting out to get out and be able to enjoy that.
Yeah.
I feel like if we can do that, then we can elevate everybody's health and wellness and just improve society as a whole.
Yeah.
But especially our youth. That's where I want to really focus.
The founder of Skull Candy said this often. I think often, I heard him say it often, is like, no good ideas ever happen at your desk. Like,
yeah.
And he would call the day in the middle of the day, say, we got to go to the mountain and go snowboarding. Or I remember one time we were at a trade show in Hong Kong, and he's like, there's waves breaking right now, a few miles from here. Let's get out of this trade show and go surf for a couple hours. And like that attitude of like, let's get outside where we can he was trying to do work, trying to spend time with the people that he cared for, but it was like, let's get out of this office space for a minute. We need to like go think more clearly.
That's where, that's where your mind gets clarity.
Yeah.
That's for me. I love being out in the outdoors, just alone often, and no connection to the internet. No connection.
Starlink's gonna ruin that.
Yeah. but you can choose that, right? You know, I keep it put away. A lot of places around here I still have cell service, but I don't look at it. It's away, and you detach from the things that are bothering you in life, and you can just think. And I think that's the most pure time that we have, where our mind is open and we can have the best ideas.
So my kids are now 7 and 11, and we launched the business on January 1st, 2020. We did a Kickstarter in 2019, but launched it basically right before COVID hit, And a friend of mine was selling his camper. I met him at CES in January, and he's like, I was like, what are you doing with that old camper? He's like, I was thinking about selling. I was like, listen, I think I might want that camper this year. And COVID hit, and it was like, I went out to California and grabbed this camper, and we camped 14 or 15 times that summer.
That's awesome.
Up at Flaming Gorge, and had a few families that we said, we'll just keep it tight with these few families, and we're out there with the kids, and we've just made the most of that camper over the last few years. And as much as I'm sad there's not a lot of powder right now, it feels like camping season's coming real quick, and we're getting ready. Yeah. As
a kid, did you do a lot of camping?
We did. Once a year we would go to a state park with like our extended family. So maybe like 15 different families, all of our extended family, and we would camp there. I want to say once a year, but we probably didn't go once a year. And then we also would go to an island in the St. Lawrence River, up northern New York, border Canada, and camp on an island up there. So we'd load up our little boat, wade way dangerous in retrospect. Load up this boat with a week's worth of camping gear and firewood and go out to this little island where there's a state park, and we would camp out there for a week.
Very cool.
And that changed it. And then high school, a buddy of mine got me into backpacking in the Adirondacks. So I started doing more backcountry stuff and heading out for days on end with a backpack, and that was a game changer for me. That kind of...
You were bought, sold?
Yeah. My first time out west was after college. My buddy and I were both going off to grad school, and he was going to go to a different school, and we said, let's spend the summer out west, backpacking around out west. So my first trip was like backpacking. We started out in Washington, ended up in New Mexico, and we did a week here, a week there. We, from mountains to canyons to deserts, and that was like, okay, I got to find my way out west one of these days, because as great as the East Coast is for, like, the Adirondacks is amazing and all that, but coming out here was just like mind blown.
So when was the first time you came out this area and to stay? To
stay, I started working for Skull Candy. I was living in China at the time, so I came out, started working for Skull Candy in 2009.
Okay.
I had been in touch with Skull Candy for many years and kind of been navigating the hope on both sides to work together at some point. 2009 came around, I landed a job with them to help them set up manufacturing operations over there and build the team out. And after 3 years there, where I had crested over 10 years overseas, I talked Jeremy Andrus into a concept of, if I could find someone to take care of the office here, can I get back to Park City? Because I didn't want to be out of the U.S. for more than a decade. When I first started, I was thinking a year, and then it was 2 years, and it just snowballed. But yeah, so Jeremy said cool, and I had somebody in mind who ended up running the office there for 6 or 7 more years after I left. So I came back with Skull Candy in 2012, which got me here into Park City, and I'm doing everything in my power to stay here as long as possible.
Nice. Which
I joke around about it, and it's not really the case, but it's one of the purposes of starting a company, because there's not that many employment opportunities for people in product development manufacturing here in Park City.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I don't want to say less I don't want to say there's less so in Salt Lake as years pass, but certainly software, AI, the tech world has really kind of dominated the space in the valley.
Yeah, which is why they call it Silicon Slopes.
Yeah, and so there's the outdoor retailer show has kind of lost momentum. There's people trying to pick up the slack there. There's a group called the Wasatch Outdoor Industry Summit. We're meeting again in a couple weeks here in Park City, trying to figure out a way to help the industry itself coalesce and find synergies and network and stuff, because as maybe it's investment capital and things get pulled into the SaaS space and the software space and all that, the companies that are building hardware or outdoor products and things like that have a little bit less availability to growth capital or startup capital even. And
sure.
So I'm happy to have the company here for a bunch of reasons, but one of it is just kind of being in a community of people who want to build the things that are going to make things better for the world and for people.
And there are several product manufacturers in Utah.
Oh, there's a lot. And there's a lot of startups.
And if you start looking at it, as I've been doing my research to find people that I can go tell their founding stories, they're way more than you think.
Yeah.
But those issues still exist, and it could be so much bigger. That's the opportunity.
My concern is I take a lot of calls, and it's even something I have to deal with our business, but I take a lot of calls from entrepreneurs and students coming out of BYU or the U with this cool product idea, and they're tinkering and building it, and you're just like, this is awesome, this is really solving a problem. I hope you find capital, because no matter how good your idea is, it's going to be a struggle unless you can find that startup capital. And so I've heard, and I didn't check this, but I've heard that Salt Lake has more venture capital dollars per capita than California.
Wow.
So there's more money here on a per capita basis, but as I go talk to investors and stuff, a lot of them that were CPG focused or hardware focused or outdoor products focused aren't anymore. They've moved on to other things, and you're like, okay, so how are these guys? I'm thinking of some guys that I bumped into at Utah Tech Week that are 4 years into a project. I talked to them like 4 years ago, and they were very at the concept level, and I was talking to them about product development, just like kind of giving them some guardrails and frameworks to work with. And I saw them at Tech Week, and they're like, we're still at it. I'm like, 4 years in, you guys haven't given up. Way to go. It's still a good idea. hope you're finding capital, and they're finding some angel investors.
Wow.
But like, it's building a hardware company takes a lot more than just because if it works, cool. You need more working capital
to build
for
it.
inventory.
Yeah.
So we're talking to major retailers now. We've expanded into about almost 3,000 retail doors over the last year and a half, and just in the U.S.
Cool.
And we're talking to major retailers now, and if they want to do a load in of all their stores or something, talking like major inventory purchases. And so you're always kind of like, okay, when and how do you manage your way through all of that? So I look at all these small companies that have amazing things. I can think of dozens of them here that I'm like, man, you see some kind of plateau, and they shouldn't be plateauing because like everyone needs this product, but how do they go from being a small local business to a national brand or a global brand?
Yeah.
And it's like those sorts of things are major growth challenges. So my hope for Utah and for Salt Lake in particular is that we find a way to support each other along the way, and find a way to network to help those people with good ideas and the right mindset find a way to that next level growth and become the employers of the future, right?
Very
so
cool.
that there's more employment opportunities around here for people that are in this space.
That's my goal for Outdoor Branded.
Cool.
Is to be the brand for all brands, to promote the outdoors.
Yep.
It's agnostic when it comes to who you're promoting. It's just if it's outdoor related and if it's all the good values behind the brand, I want to promote that because I want to build the outdoor community.
Yeah.
And I love being in this area because there is so much opportunity.
We made a decision at Kickstarter. We said we're going to be a 1% for the planet company. We kind of knew what that meant, but we didn't know where it would take us. And so when you're a 1% for the planet member, you commit 1% of your revenue, can be 0.5% in capital and 0.5% in in-kind donations. So when we made this commitment to 1% for the planet, it was kind of a representation of where we're thinking about as a brand and why we're doing this, and to we can go into the batteries and all of that stuff, but it was kind of like we want to make this commitment and we'll see where it takes us. And what it's done for us is open the door for collaborating with other businesses and nonprofits and organizations and just humans around. Maybe a good example is our relationship with Recycle Utah here in Park City. They help recycle all sorts of stuff from this community. One of the big challenges for any community, I think, is the battery recycling. Yeah. And so there's a woman there named Ellen, and she spends 4 hours every Thursday. She's done so for 8 years, volunteering to sort the batteries that are coming out of our community. I think there's about 5% of the batteries that are used in Park City will actually get into the recycling supply chain, which is about right nationally. She spends 4 hours there every day sifting through all the batteries, and that's 4 55-gallon drums every 3 months that they're processing there. And they have to be sorted because to send them off to a processor to actually get them recycled. And so, we sponsor the recycling bins, and we just did a video shoot with them last week to help create some promotional video to help just build awareness. And we're working with the local education folks that do like in-school education around environmental stuff and the green business program. And next week we start a battery collection thing with all the local schools here, and all the batteries that we collect through all the students in the schools will end up at Recycle Utah, and just kind of knitting all of those connections together.
Being a facilitator.
Yeah, and just kind of creating an opportunity for us to do better with this very wasteful thing that we all need and use and don't think twice about. All came through like, hey, we've got this commitment to 1%. Who can we work with? And we're like, okay, we've got these funds now that we can deploy. And we work with Fish for Garbage, a local group that does river cleanups, and we work with Swanner Preserve here in Park City to sponsor their summer interns who do ecosystem restoration and build beaver dam analogs on the creek that's behind the office here.
Oh, nice.
So through that commitment to 1%, we've just created like all of these human connections nearby, and we could spend all day, every day in the office cranking away on our computers, but really like the fun of this is
the purpose,
where rubber meets the road.
Yeah,
and later I'll drop off all these collection bins for the school districts who will deploy them on Monday, and they'll go out and educate all the students, get all the green teams in the schools to go educate about recycling batteries, so hopefully fewer batteries end up in landfills because the numbers are devastatingly dismal. They're just terrible.
So where did Pale Blue get its origins then?
Yeah, my co-founder and I were looking at this. This is one of those things you do when you're in product development. You're kind of keeping your eyes on the movement of technology. And we were watching all of these product categories from, phones to EVs to bikes, electric bikes coming out and things. And everything was lithium-ion batteries are better and more reliable and last longer. And this is going to be, 20, 30-year thing with lithium-ion batteries. Then you go to the retail store around Christmas and you see like pallet after pallet after pallet of alkaline batteries. And you go home and you see drawer full of used or new batteries. Maybe you're waiting to deploy, or some that are mixed in that are used. Then you've got a bucket, a bin, box, something that you're holding all the ones that you hope to go recycle later. And you're just like, wow, we're all still using alkaline batteries and the world has moved on to lithium. And it's like, this is kind of just seems silly. And we started looking at it, and we have backgrounds in product development, manufacturing. I've done manufacturing for almost 25 years now. My co-founder's been, one of his claims to fame was like being a key point person. Sorry, my watch keeps dinging. The Motorola Razr phone, he was like intimately involved in that. So at Skullcandy, we were making 100,000 headphones a day. And I thought that was, we were very, very busy making headphones when I was involved in all that. So 100,000 headphones a day is a lot of headphones and earphones. Motorola Razr, I think when Steve launched that, they were making millions a day or something like that for a little while. So we've been in consumer electronics manufacturing long enough to know what it would take. He worked in power banks a lot, kind of knew, like when phone batteries were bad, we all needed a power bank because your phone wouldn't last very long. And because the early lithium-ion stuff, and I think even the earliest days have been using nickel metal hydride, the batteries just weren't reliable. They might last for a full day for 6 months or a year, but after that, you need a power bank. And so the power bank became your solution to a bad battery, so you had to carry another battery to kind of support your phone battery. And as the phone batteries got better and the electronics to manage those batteries also became better, because it's the electronics and the battery together that really protect the lifetime and reliability of a battery. Steve had been intimately involved in the progress on the power bank side and understood what it took on the electronic side to manage a lithium-ion battery properly. And so we just kind of said, this seems silly that we're all buying single-use batteries, like everybody. When I say all, it's like everybody
it's the whole
globally
world
is buying them. We standardized batteries after World War II, and not much has changed since, which is crazy. And so said, okay, what would it take to manage a lithium-ion battery down to a AAA size? Because AA and AAA really drive most of the use and the waste. And we looked at can we make the electronics small enough while maintaining enough capacity, and what are the other things that a customer would need from an attribute and benefit standpoint to actually have them invest in a better rechargeable, because everyone would use a rechargeable battery if there was a good one. The problem was that there was never a good one.
It seems like there was a period in time where everybody was buying rechargeable batteries and using it, but then it just kind of died off.
They were lackluster, and although they made progress, they never made enough progress. So you had this reliability issue. They worked great for a few charges and then not, and then you had to have an AC outlet and you had to charge them overnight. When you need a battery, you usually need it very soon. You're like, I'm gonna need a battery, the sun's going down, or I'm gonna be going on a run or whatever. I need a battery soon, or the TV remote dies, and I could use a battery now. So if you have an overnight charging time on a battery that's kind of unreliable, it's people just gave up on it, and it became this category that's ignored by consumers. But also, if you go into any retailer and look, it's all single-use batteries, and they have one rechargeable battery, in the worst location possible, at the bottom of the planogram sitting down
and
there.
You have to buy a charging
you have to have the charging docking
for
station, and you have to have the even number of them. You can't have an odd number. And do they all have to be exactly the same charge state to do them? Or can't mix them? There's all these rules around it, and it just became unusable for consumers, because there are people that are meticulous enough and educated enough to make decent use out of the old rechargeables, but not enough for a retailer to give it more than a little tiny space, which is a signal to every other consumer, don't bother. Right? Because if they were good, we'd give you half of the store would be
front
dedicated.
Center,
Would be front center, and it'd be more prevalent. And so the concept was like, okay, we can do it technically. We figured out we could do it technically. We figured out all those technical challenges, and we got some samples made, and we're like, I used them. And the first time I used them, my kids go use them, and they brought them back to charge them, and I charged them, and I said, that was interesting, because I didn't go anywhere, buy anything, or throw anything away. And that first moment of like recharging the batteries that my kids had just gone and used, where I didn't have to run to the store or go digging through drawers to find it, and I didn't have to pay any more money, I didn't throw any trash away, there's no packaging involved, and it was just like, plug it in like all my other devices. I was like, oh, man, I'm gonna have to quit my day job and go start a company, because this is like too validating, like that validation of like, I made a good decision, you know, and I'm imagining myself as a consumer having gone and bought these, and like every time that you charge me, we have that like, that same thought, I made a good decision, these things are great, I don't have to buy any more alkaline batteries ever. Like, that's pretty amazing. And so that was kind of the moment of like, hey, we're gonna have to go do this, because that's too good, you know? So we did a Kickstarter to make sure we weren't crazy on the pricing side. The business model needed to work, and when you're asking people to spend a premium on something new, like, you could be wrong.
Yeah. How'd the Kickstarter go?
Great. Yeah, we did 430,000 on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, but the feedback was like the same. It was like, this totally makes sense. Why didn't this exist before? Those are like the most common things. And so I've come to believe that once you've used them, you're not going back to alkaline, because you're going to feel gross.
Well, I can tell you, our youngest just had a birthday.
Yep.
And probably the most items that we've ever bought for a child for a birthday, every one of them needed batteries.
Yeah.
And we went to our bucket of batteries, and we're like, I feel like I just bought batteries. How in the world are we already out of batteries? You know, and so she couldn't even play with some of her toys because we had to go get some at the store.
Yeah.
And I hate buying batteries. Absolutely hate buying batteries.
I'd like to think we have an average household. I have a lot more rechargeable batteries than probably almost anybody. But there is rarely a day that goes by that my kids or my wife or myself aren't charging some batteries on the counter. I just look over and there they are charging. Often I'm charging my truck, driving somewhere, and you're like, man, every time that I see them charging, I'm like, I would have had to buy new batteries.
Yeah, you may have spent a little bit more up front, but as you're using them, you're just seeing all the money that you're saving.
Yeah, well,
on top of all of the benefits that come with
as alkaline gets more expensive, we look a little less crazy for having an expensive battery. But the ROI is like a few charges, right? Some of our batteries, the ROI is one charge. The CR123 batteries are silly expensive at retail. Ours are one charge, you got your money back, and now you can save money for $999. Our AA is a little bit worse. It's 5 charges, but you save money for 995 more charges. So if you're buying alkalines for $1, let's say they're over $1 a piece for a good one now. You buy a pack of ours for $30. That's 4 batteries that you can use to replace 4,000 alkalines. So you replaced $3,970 in alkaline batteries over its lifetime. It's a pretty good ROI.
It's short.
Yeah.
When you think of ROI for anything, that's really short. 5 uses is
and then the
short.
long-term return on that investment is
it's just money back in your pocket.
It's amazing. And I think the convenience part, you know, beyond just like the money savings and the waste savings is like, say we're going camping. Kids are running around with headlamps.
Yep, all the time.
All the time. They're sitting there at the campfire, cooking
just
s'mores, and the headlamp's on. And in the old days, I would have been like, hey, turn off the headlamp. Now it's just like, have fun, and I'll give batteries to everyone else in the campground, be like, let the kids go do what they do. Don't interrupt the fun. Just keep going. And if it's like, hey, I'm gonna go on a trail run, or I'm gonna get up early and walk my puppy in the dark, I don't have to think about like anything. It's just like, cool, ready to go.
Every time I go hunting, I go through and check to make sure I've got charged, or I try to buy the rechargeable headlamps for that reason, because I don't want to have to replace batteries. But I have to go through that whole process just to validate ahead of time, so I have enough time to fix my problem if I don't have charged headlamps or batteries for them.
Yeah. The first time that I can remember anyone tagged us on Instagram, it's like early days, and we'd sold tens of thousands of batteries maybe, so it was pretty early. And there was this guy that was climbing Mount Wheeler, and it was 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. And he's like, this selfie video, he's like, I'm trying to climb to Mount Whitney, sorry, not Wheeler, it was Whitney. And he's like, I'm trying to climbing to the summit for sunrise. I'm stuck on the side of a cliff. My batteries just died. And you're like, oh no, this is not gonna be a good story. And he turns the camera down and our batteries are charging on a power bank. And the video cuts to him at the summit at sunrise.
That's so cool.
And you're just like, that's it. You know, it's like the convenience at home is one thing, but the convenience of like, I'm out and I don't want to drive to town to go get some new batteries. I'm on a mountain. I can't go down and start this again tomorrow. I'm stuck here until someone comes by and gives me some batteries, or self-rescue. I just charge these things on my power bank or a solar charger. I've got a solar charger here for you. It's like the convenience of being able to charge anywhere really quickly is it's hard to beat.
Let's take a look at some of the stuff.
Yeah, so this is a special makeup with some cool artwork on it that we did a collab with Wolfgang Man and Beast out of Salt Lake. So this is our batteries charging on a power bank here. And these are fully charged. They'll flash green when they're charging. I charged these up for you this morning.
So you have a visual indicator to know where they're at.
Yep, it's
into the battery.
It'll flash when it's charging and it'll be solid green, but it also has some other modes that we know and we can teach customers, but like every battery has overcharge protection, over discharge protection, 2 thermal protection circuits, short circuit protection, reverse polarity protection, all this cool electronics that are built in to manage the battery properly. But what I like to tell people is the electronics is kind of a charger and it manages everything else. So it allows USB-C charging, you can see. But all the other stuff is like this technical stuff that we know we need to do to make the battery perform better and be more reliable.
Wow.
And so there's all this high-tech stuff going on, but for a customer, it's like, oh, I can plug it into USB-C anywhere, and the light will tell me what's going on.
Which is the most prominent charge port that you have now.
Yes, yeah, USB-C has taken over. The European Union moved legislatively over the USB-C cable, which is why the new iPhones will be USB-C.
So it's just right there in the AA battery, right on top, charging connection right there. That's awesome.
So here's a headlamp. We did this collab with Wolfgang, and it was a dog walking kit. So we did a leash, collar, headlamp, and battery, all with art from this guy named Zach Crawford out of Dana Point, who's this amazing artist. And so the headlamp here will, matches the artwork on the battery, but also the leash and the collar that goes along with it. But this headlamp we tuned very intentionally to work great with our battery. So it runs on 1 AA, which is super convenient. At low setting, that thing will run like 13 hours on 1 AA. Not the brightest headlamp you ever had, but I'm going to tell you, sorry, headlamp companies out there, we've been convinced that we need 400 and 500 lumen headlamps to go do anything, and we don't.
Yeah.
And I think I understand why. A retailer might say, hey, your competitor, flashlight company A, has 500 lumen flashlight coming out this year. We're going to give them your pegs because yours are only 450 lumens, and a consumer is going to preferentially buy the one that's brighter. And that's it's a feature that you can measure, but it has nothing to do with the attribute or the benefit, because I tell you, you can't tell the difference between a 400 lumen and a 500 lumen headlamp in the dark.
Light is light.
It's bright enough.
And when you're in the dark, light is light.
Yeah, and to be able to see with this headlamp, when I've gone, touring at night. It's like split boarding at night or walking this dog at night all the time. If I can see 100 feet, am I complaining that I can't see 200 feet?
Yeah.
No, I can see just great. So anyways, we tuned this headlamp to work with our battery. One unique thing about our battery, like totally unique in the battery world, is we hold 1.5 volts start to finish.
Oh, wow.
So every other battery that's out there, the battery's
drain.
Voltage is decaying, power is decaying, and so as you use the battery, it's getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And most alkaline batteries get thrown away very much earlier than full discharge. You didn't actually use the full capacity of the battery. With our battery, when you use it to the end, you get to use the full capacity, but it was full power to that last 1% where it finally dips off. And so with this headlamp, whether the battery is at 99% charge or 2% charge, it's the same brightness. And so we've just kind of taken a different approach to things. I think because we don't have to compete against headlamp companies, because we're selling to people that are walking their dogs through this cool collab that we do with an artist to help us support, cool people doing good things. Right?
That was way cool.
So that headlamp's for you. I'll put a fresh battery in there for you. And so before I move on to some of the other stuff that we do, so what the approach that we've taken is everyone would use a rechargeable battery if only there was a good one. Lithium-ion is the best chemistry for now, and it's not like there's one kind of lithium ion. We're making constant improvements we're on Gen 4 of our product, and every year we're increasing the capacity of our batteries, improving the reliability, adjusting,
cool.
Adjusting some really high tech stuff that allows us to unlock higher max output current or charge faster or be more reliable over time. All sorts of like amazing innovations. Customer never sees it. It's all inside. It's just the right thing to do to make these things better and better and better.
But if you're someone like me, understanding what's happening inside is
cool.
really
when we're done, I'll tell you the really interesting stuff. It gets really. We have a computer and a battery that live together. We do all sorts of fun things.
I'm sure you do.
And it's really like a systems engineering level thing. So the way that we think about product is not create some features that customers might like. It's like, what are the benefits that a customer might want? A headlamp that's always the same brightness, and that lasts as long as possible.
Yeah.
And then we think, okay, what are the attributes of that? And then, cool, we can engineer the features to that. And that step between like from a benefit thinking about an attribute, that's easy, but from an attribute to the features is where the engineering happens. And so when we're doing that system level engineering or working with our chemistry or electronics or the thermodynamic stuff that we have to deal with inside the battery, all sorts of interesting stuff, that engineering of that attribute down to the feature level is where the magic happens. But it doesn't happen in a haphazard way, which I see in a lot of companies. It's like really what we're trying to do is create a benefit for a customer. Like what's that ultimate benefit that we're trying to create? And so we're able to really target our innovation work. And so like this year alone, we're anticipating adding, last year we added between 15 and 33% capacity to our batteries.
Wow.
This year, hopefully later this year.
Which is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. And hopefully later this year, we're gonna add another 20%. It's like, cool.
And as a user, as a consumer, most consumers, they just care about the experience.
Yeah, they should.
And
they should have to worry about everything else.
What's causing it to happen isn't so much their concern. They care about the experience. And when you're so user experience focused, people.
Well, that's our job.
Yeah.
The customer's job is to like get outside, go camping, let the kids keep the headlamp on, run around. If you felt like the kids used the headlamps for a long time last night, plug them into a power bank or solar charger during the day, and they'll be ready to go tonight.
Yeah.
My son, when he was probably 4 years old, had a big mag light, and he would charge the glow-in-the-dark stars in the bunk bed. He's like every night before bed, he would be in there charging these glow-in-the-dark stars. And if you had to like tell him to not do that because like D cells and a big mag light are going to be really expensive, you'd be like, man, I don't want to buy a bunch more of these batteries. It's like that kind of sucks. Like it's amazing to say like, keep charging those, man. You're good. And months later, months later, I charge up the D cells and do it for a few more months.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's like that unlock of like. So here's the crazy thing. You'll be better at this. Let me ask you. What do you think it costs to charge an alkaline, or sorry, charge a AA battery? So AA batteries mostly are about the same capacity, so it's not that much power.
So just to charge it?
Yeah, Utah power rates. I've done the math.
Oh man, I couldn't even tell you.
If a battery costs $1, you're thinking when you buy a water bottle, you're thinking the water in it has some value in the plastic water bottle, costs some money too. But you're hoping that like they bought some really good water and the bottle's not that much.
Yeah, if I'm looking at, what, 30 cents to charge a battery? So
I was a very, very small investor in a company that called Just Water, who makes water in a different material container that was more environmentally friendly, right? And they had a contract for the water in upstate New York, the water coming out of the Adirondacks, strangely enough, where I'm from. And they the water in each of their bottles was like fractions of a penny. They just had an amazing deal on a place of water that's coming out of this aquifer that's amazing water.
Yeah,
and they signed like a 50-year deal with like the local government or whatever to buy this water. It's fractions of a penny of water, but by the time it gets to the customer, they're paying, $1.50 for 12 ounces of water.
It took to get it
but
there.
the water in it was like fractions of a penny. But everything else it took to get there was quite a bit. And at the end of it, you had to pay. If you need some water, you're on the go. I guess I'm buying some water. Smart water in this big plastic bottle. If I can reuse that again, whatever. It's like, but the water itself was the cheap part. It cost a 20th of a penny to charge a AA battery.
An alkaline.
Oh, you can't charge an alkaline, but the same size, right? So like, look at your AA. When you buy a Pale Blue battery, you have to charge it 20 times to spend a penny.
Depending. Wow.
It's free.
It's nothing.
It's free. Once
Yeah.
you own it, it's free. And the idea, so like this Mizu water bottle that I have here, I've been using since a trip to Baldface in 2016. So I'm like almost 10 years into this aluminum water bottle. It's free. Every time I fill it
Yeah.
up, the water that I'm putting into it's basically free.
Yeah.
I'm not giving up on this water bottle. It's probably gonna go another few decades if I don't lose it. That's what a Pale Blue battery is.
Very
It's
cool.
essentially free once you own it. Don't lose it. You have a little bit of upfront cost, but like I never have to buy a plastic water bottle if I carry this with me
That's awesome.
everywhere I go.
Yeah.
And so that's the concept. It's like, I won't say battery for life, but if you charge our battery once a week, it's 20 years to get to 1,000.
And
Yeah.
the technology requires these types of batteries. The technology supports what you're charging off of.
It'll only get
And-
better,
Yeah.
but and it won't get worse.
I mean, the world's built for it.
Yeah.
So you get a product that's just prime for.
Yeah, it makes sense. And it makes sense to everyone. I've yet to meet someone who I give it to them and like, now I'm just going to stick with these alkaline batteries. These are doing me just
I'm
fine.
sitting here thinking about my battery box and going, man,
Yeah.
getting rid of that thing.
Yeah, well, you can try some out and
Yeah.
you'll know. It's so obvious to us. It's becoming obvious to everyone. We're starting to see competition come in that validates that other people think is a good idea at a business level. Ultimately, what we want to do is see the world move beyond single use. So
Yeah.
the numbers are utterly bananas. 10,000 pounds an hour in the U.S. The global number is about
Holy
4 to
smokes.
5 times as large. Every hour, all day long, 24 hours a day. It's hundreds of
Getting
thousands of
disposed
tons,
of.
getting close to 1 million tons a year, and about 5% are recycled.
Wow.
So you're talking something like 900,000 tons a year that go to incinerators and landfills.
Those resources that are going into the batteries, where else could they be put to use?
Yeah.
Those resources could be in so many other things, but they're being consumed in batteries because the consumer demand's there for it.
Yeah. If they were all recycled, it would still be as bad, because once you understand that you have to subsidize the recycling, you understand that more energy is going in than value coming out,
Yeah.
which means the whole thing's inefficient. And so even if we got more batteries into recycling,
Well, again,
it's still a problem.
it's for me, the concept is about saving the
Yep.
resources instead of ever putting them in the battery in the first place.
Yeah.
Because you have something more.
People think about the actual physical resources of the metal that goes into it and the packaging and all of that. But then think about like the transportation and the warehousing and the packaging. When
Everything
people
along the
order
whole
from
supply chain.
Amazon, all of the materials that go into getting you a vessel that contains 1/20th of a penny worth of electricity.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. I'm still blown away with it. The numbers still boggle my mind. It hasn't really changed. I would argue that batteries haven't changed since they were invented in 1800s, like early 1800s. So like we're talking like 200 years. Batteries are a chemical reaction that creates a current through a voltage.
Mm-hmm.
We're the first ones to do something really different in this form. Even if I were to say like EVs and that, they're still using a dry cell, and then they have a BMS, a battery management system, that sits on top of that and the electronics that manage it. We're the first ones to ever think about the cell differently, which is to say we're going to put a bunch of electronics on the cell to achieve different attributes for different benefits.
Mm-hmm. And what is the breadth of battery? What from what to what are you creating a product?
So we're focused on kind of the household sizes. So AA, AAA, 9 volts, Cs, Ds, and CR123s. 18650 coming soon. If people don't know, the CR123, CR2s, 18650s, these are lithium-ion cell sizes that have become popular since lithium-ion came around. And so everyone knows AA, AAA. What we don't know is there used to be a B battery, and there's a quad A, and there's all these other ones. But after World War II, a lot of different battery technologies were created for soldiers in World War II. And after that, it was everyone's doing all this custom sizes and different things, and the government stepped in and said, hey, we need to standardize these things for good reasons on many sides. So they came up with the A, the B, the C, the D, and all these specific dimensions. And they said they should perform electrically and at this voltage and provide this kind of current. So everything became standardized, and then nothing changed. The nickel metal hydride came out, and there was an effort to make a rechargeable that made sense, and just the chemistry couldn't do it, and there wasn't electronics to help tune. And so nothing changed again for since World War II. Because those sizes, there was that sizes added, but they were just sizes that would allow different kinds of electronics. So now consumer electronics are ubiquitous. Cheap electronics, every kid now, half of his toys are electronics, and the number of things that are powered by batteries in our day-to-day lives is not getting smaller.
No.
And so the need for batteries is ever greater, which means more waste.
Yeah, I mean, I look at my house and I've got a Ring security system. I've got batteries.
CR123s?
CR123s.
We got you.
In every one of my door
like
and window
$5-6 a
sensors.
piece.
Oh, I know. Trust me, I know. Yeah, that's one of those things where it tells you, hey, your battery's getting low, and you're going, I don't want to replace it yet. I'm going to push it till it stops working, you know. And I have.
When we were talking about, we were launching a new size every year for the first 5 years of the company. Like we're still doing that, but basically a new size every year. We'll do one, and we're thinking, maybe the CR123 it seems to be a popular size, and we went to the recycling center and like, holy cow, there's a lot of CR123s, and we went to Best Buy selling 12 packs. Like if Best Buy is selling 12 packs, where are these things all going? We still don't know. My instinct is a lot of it is the cameras, but they're like $5-6 per battery, and they're not that big.
No.
So they don't last that long. So the overhead of owning a camera. The camera costs you some money, but then the overhead of owning, you got the subscription to Ring, probably you're probably paying them monthly basis, and you're buying batteries.
So our batteries, our cameras are wired, but all the door sensors, all the window sensors, and we put them on every door and window. Right. So there's a lot in our house, and because they're passive, they're latent. They don't consume the battery.
Okay, you might get through a year
quickly,
or two.
Yeah. So yeah, they do last a little while.
Yeah.
But they don't last forever, and I can't take them out and pop them on a charger real quick and then put them back in. Like I could have that charged during the day and just put it right back. I wouldn't even have to have extra batteries of those.
Yeah.
I could just have pull it out, put it on a charger, charge it up, and then put it back on before the nighttime. And
we're talking to a production company in Salt Lake, a small production company. They have half dozen employees, maybe 4,000 batteries a year that they go through for their audio equipment and probably some lighting and things like that. That's a lot of money for a small business to eat every year, and that's a lot of waste being created every year.
Well, I mean, that's $20,000 if they're $5 a piece.
Yeah. Talk about the hunting, the hunting space, a trail camera, a modern trail camera, similar to the Ring cameras. Like, okay, I'm going to spend $150 on this camera. I'm going to have a monthly overhead because it's maybe a cellular connected. And I'm put 12 batteries in it. And I don't want to check it that often because I don't want to disturb the area. So I'm going to buy these L9 Energizer single-use lithiums for $3 a piece or $2.50 a piece. Put 12 of them in. So now every 6 months I'm going to put, what is that? $35 into the trail camera on top of my $12.99 a month subscription or whatever it is. Man, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be better to get rid of that? So we're working with a couple groups. One that does grizzly habitat stuff up in Montana. Another one that's doing jaguar research down in Arizona. And we work with a guy that does ecosystem stuff in the Amazon. Same thing, trail cameras. We have hundreds of trail cameras that they're running out there all the time. And it's cool, we'll just send you a bunch of batteries. You can charge them in the field if you're cruising around and you have power bank or some solar chargers. You don't have to you don't have to own as many batteries. You can hot swap them in the field, charge ours up during the day. Maybe take your lunch break, charge a bunch of batteries, and you go out and swap some more batteries and some more cameras. It's there's a better way to do all of that.
It's very cool.
We know of a ranch up in Montana that's owned by a very famous person I won't mention. And she has 165 trail cameras on her property, all run Pale Blue. It's
that's awesome.
Super cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it's just otherwise 160 cameras a year, whatever. How many batteries would she be going through? Each camera maybe 20, 30 batteries. 6,000 batteries a year. That's buckets and buckets and buckets of batteries.
When you were a kid, did you ever think that you'd be sitting here right now doing this?
No, definitely not.
What did you expect to do when you were growing up? What did you want to be?
I grew up in the countryside. We had my great grandparents owned the farm down the road, and we had been farming in the valley for 6-7 generations, and basically homesteading. We got the woods behind the house, and that's where we tapped the trees for maple syrup and got our firewood to heat the house. And we had a lake across the road, and we would swim and fish there, and with garden and apple trees and grapevines and stuff, and basically living off the land. And so at that time it was more I don't know, just being outside was enough. And then as you get older, I found like my people in my community through skateboarding and snowboarding. So that got me into spaces that I kind of cared about.
Mm-hmm.
And I rarely would go skateboard by myself. You're not gonna. It just didn't seem like, it just wasn't as fun. You might go practice some stuff, but if your friends are going skateboarding, you're definitely going skateboarding. It was all about like the friendship and the community and the people. And I never really. I mean, like despite decades of skateboarding, never got really good at it. I just don't have the footwork for it. But snowboarding, skateboarding, and wakeboarding, like man, those were like the community. And so later in life, I ended up working for Burton Snowboards, and that was like amazing because I got to give back to the thing that gave me community and meaning.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing with Skull Candy. It was like I was a DJ in college and worked at a radio station and stuff, and it was like, oh, I can go work for the company that helped people take music with them everywhere they go, and it's cool, and it's also supporting board sports because they were giving, so much back to those communities and athlete sponsorships and events and stuff. And it was like, wow, I can give back to this community and this thing that really was meaningful for me on a personal level. And then I went to work at Owlet. Everyone locally probably knows Owlet down in Lehigh. And it's a pulse oximeter sock for babies. And if you have a baby and you want to sleep better, man, the Owlet, we were chatting on this earlier, as you know, is a game changer.
It's the only thing that got my wife through a lot of nights.
Yeah. For every 1,000 products that Owlet sold, you'd get a phone call from a parent that would tell you the craziest story. Some of are just amazing close call kind of stories, like, hey, if I didn't have the Owlet, this looks like it was going to happen. An outcome would have been
good.
Just an amazing thing. And it was the same sort of thinking of like, I can go give back, because when I joined Owlet, we're talking 2015, I was 32. Is that right? No, 37. 30, something like that. getting close to 40, but still consider myself young, I was the oldest guy in the room at Owlet, and I was like, I can help these guys get this thing to the next level, even at my young age.
You still have plenty of experience.
I was still the old guy. I was still the mature guy in the room.
You had a lot of experience by that time to share.
And so it was like an opportunity to give back to the thing, because I had a son and my daughter was not far behind after joining Owlet. And it was like, man, I can give back to this thing, this community, it went from like giving back to skateboarding to giving back to like broader global board sports and action sports to like, I can give back to parents. Like I can work on something that's going to benefit parents around the world at the most important time of being a parent, which is like when your baby's
the most vulnerable, when you're terrified, especially new parents. But it, like we were talking earlier, the parents that have experienced something tragic, and now the next child that's dealing with those concerns and the trauma and the PTSD from that event. We were filming at Owlet one time. This is a sidebar, but we had a corporate partner that said, well, we'll come in and film this event that you guys are doing. We'll send in like professional production people. And the event was, we're bringing in a bunch of families who had near misses or had lost a baby and then had an Owlet for their next child. They're sharing stories of like their experience around Owlet. We got like 2 minutes into this video shoot and everyone in the room's crying. The microphone guy's shaking so bad. We had, the camera's shaking, and like everyone's like, everyone's to stop. It's the most intense time of being a human is when you have that baby on the way or when they show up. And it's like, so for me, like in my career, it was a decision of like, I need to go give back, because we had our challenges with our son, and it was like, man, if I can help people through sometimes, I need to go do that. And Pale Blue was the same sort of thinking. It's like, we have this ability now to create something better and really like contribute. I think that's probably the best way to think about it, is like, we can actually contribute. I'm getting on in years. I'm pushing 50 now, and it's like, I still feel young, and it still feels like a privilege to be able to like contribute through the variety of skills and the amazing people we've been able to bring on board to like contribute to something bigger than ourselves. One theme that I'm picking up on you, Tom, throughout your life is just purpose, value, and that desire to take your experience or to take your skill set and benefit others with it. I think that's, people will want to support Pale Blue because they see a person who is so dedicated to helping others throughout your career.
Don't do it for us, but enjoy the product and know that we're doing it for you.
Yeah, but there's shared value there, right? People want to support brands where they have shared values, and they want to support people who care. You obviously care. That's very clear. And
I would say if you want to support, come out to the Fish for Garbage river cleanups and help us clean up some rivers. Come get involved in the things.
And these events that you guys get involved in, do you advertise that?
We'll push it out through social media. I usually post on LinkedIn.
So where can people find you?
Our Instagram is probably our most active place for posting things, and that's pale_blue_earth.
Okay.
And we'll post. We don't post every event that we're doing up there. Fishforgarbage.org go sign up for their newsletter. Jeff, who runs Salesforce, is on the board of directors there, and we've been involved in sponsoring and supporting their events for many years now. And it's just good people out there doing a really fun thing, which is like walking on a river, picking up garbage, and like having a barbecue after. It's like there's nothing better than that. But my hope is that we genuinely make products that change people's lives and help them and help make a better world, and maybe inspire people to get outside more. If we all get outside and enjoy these wild places around here a little more, we'll protect them a little bit more fervently protect them more in a more focused way for our kids.
And preserve the outdoors, but also provide opportunities to just get away from some of life's troubles.
Yeah.
I think everybody, I don't know if there's anybody that walks the earth that doesn't need to get away sometimes and just take a break.
Yeah.
And that's what the outdoors gives us. I think that's why God created the outdoors.
Yeah.
That's why He gave them to us, so that we can get away and just take a break.
Yep. With that in mind, camping season is coming. I keep looking down at this puppy, just thinking about her out at Flaming Gorge after a nice paddleboard.
Yeah.
My kids have been lucky to grow up here, and I grew up in upstate New York, where we had, the back 40, and had the farm nearby and the lake and stuff, and you could explore. But I think the number of acres that I explored as a kid, pretty small, dozens of acres maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And I came out here and I was like, wait, I can go in that direction or that direction. And now, after having hunted around here for the last 13 years, everywhere I go, I'm like, I've been up that peak, that ridge. Everywhere I go, I'm like, oh man, I've been able to I've seen more sunrises from mountaintops here in Utah. And I'm a big public lands advocate. We got to really protect those things because they're special. And
yes, absolutely.
People that grow up in it, I don't know if we all know how special it is, but having grown up in upstate New York, where some little state parks here and there, and if your friend had a big yard or some woods behind the house, you got to explore that. But here, it's like hundreds of thousands of acres that you can explore every season of the year. It's bananas. It's amazing. And no other country in the world has it. Maybe New Zealand. I did a study abroad in New Zealand, and there are big parks down there you can go explore. I would argue that they may have it, and maybe there's places in Australia, but any populated place in Europe or anything like that.
Yeah.
Going exploring like wilderness, like true wilderness.
The freedoms to know that it really is free out there. You can go and just be there.
Just be there.
Don't have to worry about anything
Like
else.
some of the places, I think they're like 14 and 20 day limits, 21 day limits. You're like, wait, I can park my camper here for 21 days for free and just enjoy the sunset on this beach every night for the next few weeks, and then I just got to move a half mile and go do it again. It's bananas, man. We have something very special in Utah and in the West here that deserves protection.
Yeah. Super blessed, and I'm glad to get your story.
Thanks.
Very grateful that you gave me the time today, because it is cool what you guys are doing. And when I came across you and reached out, I was super excited for this one, because I wanted to know where this all came from.
Let me crack this open for you. I've got one of our solar chargers. So one thing about batteries, this is something that we benefited at Skull Candy from the fact that people put our cool products on their head and they walked around in public. One thing about batteries, they disappear in your life a little bit. So years ago, we started thinking about different ways that we could help customers have our brand in their life in the places that we want them to. So the headlamp is one example of that. Or if you're dog walking and your dog has a collar on and a leash that's very cool every day, you're like, oh, this is amazing. So this is a way to keep our brand out in your life in the months ahead a little bit more. So this is a 21 watt 3-panel solar charger with a really cool bungee system and a cool storage pocket on the back, 2 USB charging ports back there. These bungees are great for connecting to just about anything. They go on the corners there. You can hang them on a tree or your tent or backpack.
And lighter weight than most.
Yeah. This one, we've got a single panel that's 11 ounces. This one I think comes in at something like 17 ounces or 20 ounces. So a little bit more than I'd want for a long backpacking trip, but for camping, that one's great. If you can do more backpacking or hunting, we'll get you one of the single panels. So yeah, just a way to charge out in the field and not have to run to town to get batteries.
So what would be the time to charge a
on this thing, on this it charges as fast as our batteries normally charge. So like our AAA is an hour and a half, AA is 2 hours.
That's cool.
The good news is like your phone, that charging time for the first 80% is really fast. So with our batteries, if you charge them for half of the full charging time, you're getting close to 80% of the full charge. And so a AA, you charge it for an hour, and you're basically at 80% charge.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
And it looks good.
Yeah, it's super durable, like fully I think it's 6 layers of lamination, 3 on each side to like make it really rugged and durable.
It's not cheap. It's not.
No, we don't want to make a cheap thing. We want something
this is not something that you're going to find at Harbor Freight. This is quality. It's going to last. I mean, durability is one of the things that you guys are.
With our core business being the batteries, we're able to do accessories where we can kind of over-index on quality and stuff, and just say like, hey, this is for people who love us, and if they buy it because they love us. We're happy to have them have a great product, and it's not about driving revenue and margin in our accessories stuff. It's like, give them a cool product. Our headlamp, like, you'll tell me what you think of the headlamp, but I'm just ecstatic with this little tiny innovation.
Yeah, no, it's awesome because one, I don't want something big and chunky, and there are headlamps that you get that are massive pieces of.
I can tell you why they're massive, and it's not a good story.
Yeah, and so. I mean, just the size in and of itself is perfect. And for someone that's out there, like when I go hunting, it's all about size and weight.
Yep.
And I hunt with my feet.
Yeah.
So
we haven't put the red light in. We'll put the red light in soon. Get that.
That's awesome.
Cool. This has been fun, man.
For me too.
I'm looking out the window behind you and going, we could have been outside. We could have gone out there. It's cold but sunny.
Soon we'll be recording outside, and that's the goal.
We'll link up for some camping in a month or two.
Well, thank you for your time.
This is great.
Really
this is cool.
I
like
this one of the interviews that I had. This guy builds these, so this will be on one of the episodes. And so he custom made this for me, and I went and picked it up from him, and we sat down and did a podcast. But his story was pretty cool too. That's what I like. This is what's fun for me is the stories. Everybody's got a different story, and I think people enjoy listening to individual stories and how things got to where they're at.
I'm a total podcast addict, man. I don't even want to dare how many hours a month I'm putting into podcasts, but it's become like a way to get educated on things that you might never have the time to go get educated on. I found myself, I've never kicked tires on having my own podcast, but man, I've been an avid consumer. So when I lived overseas, I moved over to China when I was in 2003. And the first iPod came out in 2004, I think. And I was like downloading every NPR podcast and things just to hear good English every day. I was on the RSS feed stuff at the beginning. And
I've lived in a foreign country for 2 years, and so I know what it's like to just hear your language is sometimes just very pleasing.
Yeah. So best of luck with the podcast, and let's go camping.
Yeah, sounds good. Cool. Thank you. Appreciate it.